Coming up on AgweekTV, USDA provides details of the latest round of COVID relief payments for farmers. We'll look at the role off-farm income continues to play for farm families. Find out why some cattle producers are seeing more open cows again this winter. And the inauguration ushers in a new administration and ag agenda. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. With this week's inauguration, the Biden administration is officially in power. Ag groups have already had some positive meetings with Biden's transition team and Ag Secretary nominee Tom Vilsack. The administration is looking at an aggressive agenda on rural broadband, implementation of COVID-19 relief, biofuels, a climate change bill, and sweeping immigration reform. Those align with the priorities of many farm groups.
Of course, labor continues to be a critical issue both on our farms and plants, and remain hopeful that we can continue to emphasize that message with the new administration and also continue the discussions on the positive story for the environment.
He says they also want to expand trade. Biden also announced USDA sub-cabinet positions, including Jewel Brona as Deputy Ag Secretary. She's Commissioner of the Virginia Department of Agriculture. Janet McCabe has been nominated as Deputy Administrator of EPA. She worked at EPA during the Obama administration. A former North Dakota state senator, prominent farmer, and businessman was among those rallying at the Capitol. Tom Campbell farms near Grafton and has a number of other business interests around the region. Campbell made a last-minute decision to attend the rally and says he was shocked it turned violent. He says he disagrees with former President Trump about many things, especially his trade war with China, which hurt ag exports. He says losing Democratic Representative Colin Peterson as the powerful chair of the House Ag Committee is bad for farmers, but he has some concerns about the Biden administration.
The pro-agenda for Biden and his party is probably to do, less government help and probably more regulation with environmentals and chemical controls and so forth. So I am concerned about the future.
Campbell has run unsuccessfully for both the U.S. House and Senate, but isn't ruling out another run. The 147 Republican lawmakers who oppose certification of the presidential election have lost the support of many of their largest corporate backers. Some, like American Crystal Sugar, have not committed to specific action. The Washington Post polled the 30 companies that are the biggest contributors to those campaigns through PACs or political action committees. They gave a total of $37 million from 2015 to 2020. 20 said they will suspend some or all donations. Meanwhile, 10 companies are still evaluating or have not committed to a specific action, like American Crystal Sugar, who gave about $1.5 million in contributions to those lawmakers the last 5 years. EPA was busy the last days of the Trump administration. They granted 2 2019 SREs and reversed a 2018 petition totaling 260 million gallons of lost biofuels demand. EPA also proposed a general waiver from 2019 and 2020 RFS obligations due to COVID and extending compliance deadlines. They will also remove labeling barriers to expand E15 sales. This after the Supreme Court said it would review a court decision against EPA for exceeding its authority, granting 3 waivers. USDA has announced additional assistance through the Coronavirus Food Assistance, or CFAP, program. It includes expanded eligibility for some producers and commodities and updating previous payments. FSA has expanded eligibility for swine producers. They'll receive a top-up payment going back to CFAP 1. It's based on inventory from April 16th to May 14th, with rates increasing from 25% to 50% of the estimated total economic loss. No action is required for producers to receive these payments.
It's based off of the payment that farmers received under CFAP 1. So that payment came last spring. And what this payment is an additional $17 per head.
Pork or poultry contract growers with a drop in revenue in 2020 versus 2019 due to the pandemic are also now eligible. They could receive up to 80% of loss. And crop producers that had crop insurance but did not have an available 2020 actual production history approved yield will also receive a payment. FSA is using 100% of the 2019 Arc County option benchmark yield for CFAP 2 applications rather than the original 85%. The program runs through February 26th. Now, the indemnity for producers who had to euthanize animals will come under the Biden administration. Agriculture is an essential industry and has barely missed a beat providing food and feed during the pandemic. As vaccines are rolled out, polls show varied results on how many working in the business will get vaccinated. Farmers and agribusiness representatives recently attending farm shows reflect that trend.
I'm not sure yet. I am not sure yet.
I don't think I'm going to. I think by the time they get out to our neck of the woods, most of the population is going to be vaccinated anyway.
I do. I plan on doing it. I have underlying conditions and my wife has some serious conditions, and I'm all for it.
Farmers are an at-risk group with the average age in the upper 50s. Coming up on AgweekTV, the number of people working off the farm remains high. We'll look at one big reason.
Superior Grain Equipment offers you the industry's best dryer and grain handling equipment. So make the superior choice and get higher quality grains, test weights, and prices while using half the energy. Superior Grain Equipment.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
With the success of the Case IH Tiger Quad Track and Magnum Road Track tractors, it's no secret why Case IH is the leader of the track. So it wasn't surprising when the competition started imitating us. But only Case IH offers a 5-axle design to give you a smoother ride, more power to the ground, with less berming and compaction. Still, we're flattered. In fact, if we weren't already red, we'd be blushing.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you. From top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Agweek brings you timely agriculture news from field to fork in digital, print, and television. Fresh every week, join Jenny Schlecht from the Agweek editorial team and me, Al Windmill, from the sales and marketing team for a deeper dive into farm and ranch stories, along with guest interviews with personalities from the world of agriculture. If you're involved in farming, ranching, or agribusiness, the Agweek podcast is the show for you.
Welcome back. A new USDA study shows about 60% of farming families have a source of off-farm income. A large number of them are women. For this Ag Week cover story, Emily Beal talked to a couple of women about why they took jobs off the farm. Emily?
Michelle, it may come as no surprise that a big reason for taking a job off the farm is for the health insurance that comes with it.
I just need to know how to do a little bit of everything, but not get real good at it because I don't do it a lot.
Christy Jager's role on her family farm has evolved over the years, from raising kids to driving farm equipment. But it's seen in recent years, as commodity prices dropped, the cost of health insurance rose. So while the second income is a welcome boost for them, like many, the main reason is for the health care insurance.
I feel like the days are a little bit gone where the farm can be a business and support the family life. And because of the prices and the cost of things now, it's almost like the farm has to be separate.
Christy feels fortunate that her job as a crop insurance adjuster allows her to work from home and have some flexibility to continue helping on the farm. Tracy Miller and her husband raise cattle, but right now they both have jobs off the farm with the hope that eventually the operation can support them.
So having an off-farm income and actually having 2 off-farm incomes has been extremely beneficial for us to mitigate some of that risk, to offset some of the impacts we've seen on a global scale. The biggest challenge, and we've seen it, our generations before us have seen it, is being able to have affordable access to health care.
So with the cost of living going up and the price of health insurance along with it, an off-farm job may give something money can't buy. Peace of mind.
You can read more on this cover story in the next Agweek magazine and at agweek.com. Cattle producers are coming off another tough year in 2020, marked by the COVID market meltdown. In parts of the region, including South Dakota, though, producers are also facing another challenge as they're going on the 3rd year of lower conception rates in their cow herds. I traveled to cattle country to find out why. The rate of open cows just in south central South Dakota is running from 20 to 50% depending on the operation, which is much higher than normal. Cody Moore says it's been reflected in their sales at Winter Livestock.
And maybe a lot of people didn't sell their older cows last year, but it seems like we've sure had a lot of way-ups in the last couple months.
Co-owner Frank Vollmer blames the poor conception rates on cows being under more stress due to the weather.
Still think it goes back to the 2 winters ago. We had a terrible tough winter and them cows just didn't make it through very good. And then last summer we got pretty dry at the wrong time, and so cattle were not in very good condition.
He also thinks it's tied to poor body condition, with cows grazing corn stalks longer to save feed costs.
If the cows go downhill, of course, they don't breed as well and they don't raise their calf as well. Nowadays the combines we have are so good that they don't leave much corn behind, so I feel a person has to manage their corn stalks a lot more now than they used to have to.
Moore contends during the tough winters the feed quality wasn't high enough for cows either.
Hay probably wasn't enough for them cows. I mean, the body condition went down, and them cows probably need a little more protein, maybe a little more feed than just hay.
The end result will be a smaller calf inventory in the future. It's been a mild winter so far, with above normal temperatures and below normal snowfall and precipitation, especially compared to the last 2 seasons. That has been a favorable scenario for livestock producers, with good gains in the feedlot and less stress on cows. However, a pattern change is likely due to La Nina during the peak of the calving season, late winter into early spring.
We do see increased likelihood of wetter conditions that could be snow, rain, but we do also see an increase in colder, or more likely colder temperatures also.
Edwards says this is a good time for cattle producers to make sure their feed sources and calving facilities are ready for inclement conditions. Ahead on AgweekTV, one North Dakota brand inspector holds a record that will be hard to beat. And later, a lawmaker wants to streamline the process of drainage permits.
Superior Grain Equipment is committed to quality and service. Protect your bottom line and your future with superior quality, protection, and reliability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
The annual Northern Corn and Soybean Expo is happening soon, and it's easier than ever to attend. Join the 2-day virtual event February 23rd and 24th from anywhere, snow or shine. Hear from your host, Tyne Morgan, as she moderates the U.S. Farm Report with market specialists. Weather expert Eric Snodgrass will take a look at risks for the upcoming growing season, and the Shark Farmer will dive into agricultural advocacy. Check out the schedule and register today at northerncornsoyexpo.com.
Improve the profitability of your ranch by partnering with Top Herefords. Attend the bull sale February 12th at 1 p.m. at the ranch near Grace City, North Dakota. When you buy a Top Herefords bull, you're getting top-of-the-line genetics and the benefits of marketing your feeder cattle and replacement quality heifers direct. It's a common-sense approach to greater profits on your ranch. View the 2021 catalog at topherefords.com and join us at the bull sale February 12th at 1 p.m.
Schedule an uptime inspection for your equipment with the Case IH service professionals at your local Titan Machinery. Our Case IH certified service technicians have the training, experience, and genuine Case IH parts to ensure your equipment is ready for next season. Planting and harvesting windows are short. Have confidence in your equipment's performance with a Titan Machinery multi-point uptime inspection. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH service leader.
Superior Grain Equipment offers you the industry's best dryer and grain handling equipment. So make the superior choice and get higher quality grains, test weights, and prices while using half the energy. Superior Grain Equipment.
Go beyond the headlines with an Agweek membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to Agweek and AgweekTV.
The week started off feeling like spring, but we got a little blast of winter to close it out. Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
Past the midpoint of January now, looking ahead, this 2-week forecast will carry us into February, and we're still waiting for the really cold weather. Where is the cold weather? Where is the really cold weather? Most of the northern plains, upper Midwest, it's been a very mild winter, and although there has been some snow, there have even been some blizzards, we just haven't seen a lot of it yet. This coming on the heels of 2 winters in a row that have brought some fairly decent amounts of snow and cold weather. Well, we do have a touch of cold in the northern plains, but it's really cold up in central Canada this weekend, and that will be the rule of things early this week. There will be some days into North Dakota and Minnesota where it doesn't get much above zero. It looks like the early part of the week and will stay below freezing over most of the upper Midwest, most of the Great Lakes states. Pretty warm weather down south. Be a good time of the year to go visit South Florida if you want some of the heat. Southern California is not so warm because the jet stream dipping southward in those areas. As we go through this week, the really frigid weather will retreat, reinforce. Alaska at times looks extremely cold. Northwest Canada looks extremely cold, but I think the cold weather in the northern plains will actually relax a bit. By the end of the week, jet stream ridging a little bit in the mid part of the country, and the active weather will be out here in the Atlantic Ocean, so it doesn't look terribly stormy. Pacific Northwest will bring storms into the coastline there. California starts to see rain amounts usually increasing as we get into February and March. That's the wet season in the southwest. You'll see in a moment there will be some rains as this jet stream slams ashore out there. The second week of the forecast, now January 31st through the first full week of February, the frigid weather remaining mostly in the north. It's not exactly going to be warm, although this is above average temperatures for most of the northern plains. The south stays fairly warm, and we just don't see any of those real cross-polar flows that bring the true Arctic air down into the United States, except for Alaska, which of course is in the Arctic. Precipitation, the west coast looks fairly wet this week. There'll be some fairly dry weather in the midsection of the country, and I do look toward the end of the week for a weather system to pick up some steam, produce some rain and snow in the eastern U.S. Next week, which will be the first full week of February, still looks pretty wet in the Pacific Northwest, and when those storms move inland, there will be snows in the mountains. I look for the dry weather to expand in the Great Plains, so it's not going to be particularly snowy anywhere. There will continue to be the threat for rain in the southeast and probably some areas of snow around the Great Lakes. But overall, the pattern remains stuck without the cold weather. It's up there and it's staying up there, and the pattern is not looking that stormy either. So generally dry, generally above average temperatures, and the pattern looks like it'll hold.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best-built, best-backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
When you think about it, productivity starts at planting. So it's time to rethink how productive your planter can be. We did with the new Case IH 2000 Series Early Riser Planter. We rethought your row unit so it's tougher, more accurate. We rethought your meter, took the most precise technology, factory installed it. We rethought every inch of the Case IH Early Riser Planter to make it the most productive planter around. And if you think about it, that's exactly what you want.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
A Wapaton, North Dakota lawmaker is sponsoring a bill she thinks will save counties time and money in processing drainage permits. Representative Cynthia Schreiber-Beck wants to streamline the process. Currently, counties must check all the deeds for lands at least 1 mile downstream if the outlet has to go that distance or farther to a main legal assessment drain. In its current form, her bill would just go by who is listed on the tax rolls. Other than that, she says the process will largely remain the same. The applicant must still have designs and flow maps and information essential for the county to approve them.
Anytime we work with water, there seems to be some very big concern. But at this time, it has been vetted through the water boards and the Water Board Association. So we're hoping that we all are on the same page and that it will be beneficial to those that want to do tile projects.
The bill also requires permits for any size drainage project. Currently, no permit is needed for projects of 79 acres or less. Beet piles in the Red River Valley are storing well despite the mild winter we've had so far in the region. Beets are stored at outdoor piling sites until they can be processed. Generally, warm or wet weather can speed up the disintegration of those beets in those piles. American Crystal Sugar's Director of Agriculture says they had great harvest weather, and despite some warmer than average temperatures, the beets are storing well.
The beets are storing fine. We did not like the warm spell. We prefer to have average, but really in a long term, we're looking really good.
Gowan says thanks to ideal harvest weather, the beets went into the piles at the right temperature, and that has helped keep them cool. In addition, there's very little dirt tear on the beets, so slicing them is easier, which helps move them off the piles faster. A cattle brand inspector in south central North Dakota has been on the job for 55 years, and he doesn't plan to quit anytime soon. Delbert Esslinger ranches near Ashley. In addition, he's been the region's state brand inspector since he was 19 years old. Esslinger says, unlike almost everything else, branding hasn't changed at all over the years. He inspects the movement of around 2,000 head of cattle and estimates that about half the cattle are branded. Verifying that unbranded cattle are owned often involves visiting with neighbors to make sure none of theirs are missing. His job is year-round, but he spends about 35 days doing the work. He's busy from October through December as ranchers bring cattle home to a feedlot or to market. But he never knows when he's going to get a call.
You're supposed to give a guy 2 days of notice in advance. That usually doesn't happen that way. Some of them give you a 2-3 hour notice. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I can still do it.
He says his goal is to make it to 60 years as a state brand inspector. Still ahead on AgweekTV, how one Minnesota community is preserving ag history.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
Schedule an uptime inspection for your equipment with the Case IH service professionals at your local Titan Machinery. Our Case IH certified service technicians have the training, experience, and genuine Case IH parts to ensure your equipment is ready for next season. Planting and harvesting windows are short. Have confidence in your equipment's performance with a Titan Machinery multi-point uptime inspection. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH service leader.
For Agweek, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
An historic farm in southeast Minnesota is being restored and preserved. The History Center of Olmsted County wants to remind Rochester of its roots by restoring the Stoppel Farmstead. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places to commemorate the pioneers and agricultural history of the area. Rochester was far from a world-class medical center when the Stoppel brothers from Germany homesteaded there in the 19th century. So the executive director of the History Center says it's important to preserve that for future generations.
So many residents today have no idea about the agricultural roots of Olmsted County, and what does that mean for the future if people have no idea what a farm looks like or how a farm works or what rural life is even like?
The buildings were constructed between the 1860s and 1880s. The History Center will be renovating the barn, stone house, smokehouse, silo, and cave. The family dug the cave to live in the first winter, then used their skills as stone masons to build the sturdy homes and buildings.
The buildings themselves are fairly well constructed. That ties into the family's history of being masons, which makes them kind of unique in how well crafted they are.
The farm stayed in the family until 1956, and the Historical Society bought it in 1976. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Have yourself a great and safe week.